Oh, interesting. Okay, so they're teaching each other how to do this because this is obviously a loophole. They think they won't get caught. So let's take a look at this this first clip.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I'm Jesse Hagopian. I'm a teacher in Seattle, and I work with Black Lives Matter at school and the Zen Education Project and Rethinking Schools. So I've actually got to Zoom in and do meetings with classrooms in Florida and with some bold teachers who invited us into the classroom in the tradition of fugitive pedagogy, and smuggling in contraband curriculum, showing the film, The Rebellious Life of Mrs. Rosa Parks, and then having us come and discuss systemic racism in a state where it's illegal. And so that rebellion is inspiring to me, and telling teachers in my state to do this work if they can do it in those conditions, right? So I thank you all for the work you are doing, the fight that you're putting up that's really a fight for all of us. Because we know what they are incubating in Florida is about exporting it all across the country, and we're already seeing that, right? When Florida banned the AP African American Studies curriculum, the response wasn't a rebellion for ethnic studies all across the country. The response from the College Board was, okay, cool, we'll cut everything that you wanted out of it. So the word systemic does not exist in AP African American curriculum anymore. That is not an advanced course. If you can't talk about systemic racism, you're just lying about this country, right? They are now exporting the don't say gay, don't say trans laws across the country now that Florida is not the only state now, right? So they are incubating this fascism and working on ways to export it. I think that one of the ways we need to understand what's happening right now, to understand how to defeat it, is to look at the McCarthy era, because the Red Scare and the Lavender Scare are the playbook, I think, that they're drawing from very consciously. Label anything that you don't like communism, and then fire the people, right? So thousands of teachers lost their jobs across the country as a result of the Red Scare. And the Lavender Scare, actually more people were fired from the federal government for being labeled, quote, homosexual than even red, right? Even a communist. And specifically in Florida, the Johns Committee was set up to interrogate teachers, to bring them from their classrooms to sit before a committee in the 40s and 50s and have to defend their sexuality. And if you were just a single woman teacher, you were under suspicion of being lesbian and were often fired, right? And that they're very consciously reviving that with these laws. And I think when we can see that history and teach that history to young people, to our social movements, it helps us understand the tradition they stand in and the one that we stand in, because what ended the McCarthy era and the Red Scare and the Lavender Scare was the eruption of the civil rights movement, the Black Power movement, the gay liberation, right? LGBTQ people fighting for their liberation, and that's really what I think it's going to take today. And I'll just end by saying that the new law goes into place that says that if you have the wrong book in your classroom about race or sexuality, you can face a felony in Florida, right? That you 5 years in jail.
Including being labeled a child sexual offender.
Right, exactly. And so my question, just to end, is what do we do when the first, do you think they're actually about putting teachers in jail? Is that the next step? And if that happens, what's our, I want to get on the next plane, the first teacher who faces a felony for having a wrong book, I want to get down there and be in front of that school. How do we mobilize our networks to get people down there to fight that?
Okay, so fascinating, right? Totally fascinating.